come to your mind be formless, shapeless, like water.
Hello, Kevin. Thank you so much for doing this interview with me. I'm really excited to get this book out, and I'm very excited to have you as part of the book. So let's just jump right into it. So why don't you tell everybody who you are, where you're from, and let's start with that.
Okay. Oh, well, thanks for having me. So my name is Kevin. Last name is Lee. I was originally born in Taiwan. I started martial art when I was 7.5 years old. When my dad was actually thinking that was a little too much for the house because I was very active. So he kind of threw me in martial arts to kind of keep my energy contained. So I started with in the Taekwondo club and the Kung Fu club. So I studied the traditional Kung Fu, and then studied Taekwondo, and I studied Aikido. So I was kind of jumping back and forth a little bit more. I studied for a few years, and then when I was 12 and a half, I moved to the United States.
Oh, okay.
And that's when I actually go deeper into Taekwondo because it was actually offered as part of a school program.
Very nice. Now that's the first I've heard so far.
Yes.
Was that here in Georgia? Or
was here. Yeah, it was actually here in Georgia.
And do they still offer that?
I don't think so because one of the school teacher actually was a Taekwondo second degree black belt. Wow. So he offered that as a part of a program, for the student who wants to train at the cheaper cost.
Okay.
So I joined a club for about 3.5 years.
Okay.
And that was my...
Would you say that, I'm so glad you said that, because you're the first that's told me that they've actually taken a martial arts program that was from the school, right?
Correct. Yeah.
That's crazy. And now that I finally found someone that had a martial arts program that they were doing in school, what was it like for you to be able to have that opportunity while you were in school, because it was part of the program?
I think was, to me as a student, and because my parents they were both working at that time, I think it benefits me because I didn't have to go anywhere. I basically just stayed after school, and I have to just go to a specific. We have to go to this hall, and the teacher will roll out the mats, and we'll help them to put a puzzle mats together. And we'll get dressed on. We'll have uniforms, and we just start working out. Go through the same routine that the teacher is teaching. So I think as a younger teenager, I think that benefits me because I don't have to travel. I don't have to ask my parents, "Hey, can you drop me off?" Because
everybody wins.
Exactly. My parents are busy; they were working.
Yeah, and it was since it was already part of the school. There was no additional fee for your parents.
There's a little fee. Well, they do have to pay a teacher.
I see.
But the cost was lower. It's like not even $100.
Oh, that's nothing. Especially by today's standards.
Exactly.
So you were already able to do Taekwondo while you were in school.
Correct.
Do you think now that we're going to come back to the main introduction here, but you asked the question, and I'm really inspired by that. Do you believe that it might be a good idea to try, if they could, the school system, to re-implement a martial arts program to help the students today?
Yes.
And why is that?
Because in my personal opinion, I believe that martial art is just not about the physical training. There are attributes that teaches, like the benefits that we teach, such as focus, discipline, and there's just none of it. There's a lot of programs out there that probably help you focus, help you discipline, help you understanding on your body coordination. To me, it's like the study of understanding the focus, understand the discipline, and as well as the tradition of the martial arts.
I see.
Because training is a part of it, physically, but I think it mentally makes you stronger. As a student, I think that really helps me to stay focused and disciplined.
Right.
And that's just my personal opinion.
I really like that because you have, if you don't mind me asking your age.
I'm 31 this year.
31, okay. So you've obviously been around long enough to see over the last 20 years the changes in the youth and how they've been handling themselves, how they've been handling adults around them.
Correct.
Their school, everything. And you can tell that the students of today are just not the same as when you and I came up in school.
Correct.
And what I mean by that is their level of acceptance of violence.
Exactly.
And I feel like a lot of people think I'm crazy when I say this, and I'm pretty sure you'll agree with me, but if martial arts was reintroduced to these kids and it started, I feel strongly that it would start to mitigate those violent problems. Would you agree
I agree.
with that?
I 100% agree with that.
Okay, because a lot of people, I think a lot of these parents and a lot of people that are very liberal, they would disagree with that. They say, no, don't reintroduce violence. No, we're not introducing violence. But
you have to educate them.
Okay, you have to educate them.
You have to educate them. It's like when you get burned, how do you know that fire is going to hurt you? because you had to educate your kids that hey, that's gonna burn you.
Right.
But if you insist to touch a fire, what
Right.
happens then? You get burned. There's
Right.
a consequence.
Right.
So I think with us, at least for our system in our school, we're teaching that, we don't punish for what you do, but there's a consequence that you have to understand.
Right.
Everything you do comes with consequences.
Yes.
So I think because I grew up in a way where my parents, of course, spanked me.
There you go.
It's it's like, but of course there are people that will disagree with that part. Say, why would you spank your kid?
Mhm.
I think my parents. I think the best thing I ever learned from my dad is like, you have to understand the consequence.
Yes.
You do this not because I'm punishing you. I'm doing this because of your action,
That's
because
right.
of what you did.
That's right.
And then that makes me go back and think, oh, what did I do? What did I do?
Right.
Not just
You
because
can reflect.
Exactly. Mhm.
Okay, so in martial arts does actually help that.
It does.
So if you were to speak to all the parents, if you could, for like 2 minutes of your life, and you had the whole world in front of you that was not martial artists, they were just people. And what I mean by just people, I shouldn't say that, but they're everyday people that don't do martial arts, right? If you had a chance to have them in front of you, both parents and single parents, and even people that haven't had kids yet, and you could tell them, this would be my reasoning why I would put martial arts back into society on a whole different level than in schools, what would you
I would say, for the parents that's out there, and if you have a second thought about putting your kids into martial arts,
Yep.
over the parents like select over all the sports, I say soccer, baseball, basketball, all the sports is great. I think in all benefits, it helps your kid to grow, right?
Yep.
As a team with others. But the only thing that martial really emphasizes understanding of your body.
Okay.
Not just physically, but
Okay.
mentally. Understanding how powerful your mind can do for you. Understanding discipline. Understanding knowing to control self-discipline, self-focus. I
see.
think that's a lot of time that's kind of missing in today's society.
Yeah, and I agree with you on that one, because it's not only a feeling that I get, it's something that we see literally now.
Exactly.
We see the loss, and I mean total loss of self-control. I
Exactly.
mean, you look at these school shootings, you look at all these terrible things that happen, and terrible things have always happened in human history, but
Exactly.
there's a difference today is that not only can we see it within a matter of seconds because of the internet, everyone's trying to be a star.
Exactly.
And in the worst way possible. Like the last school shooting, this kid gets on YouTube and he's telling people he's going to go kill a bunch of kids.
Yep.
And all because he wanted to get the attention, or because he was a lack of attention.
I
he was getting.
100% agree with that.
Okay.
I think the kids nowadays are also looking for sort of a validation.
Okay.
So it's like, hey, I want to be acknowledged by the
Right.
society. I want to be
see.
kind of cool,
Okay, right.
So like other kids sees me, as a different type of person. Maybe I don't know how they grew up, but I feel like sometimes it's the parents, the lack of education that
Sure.
on the kid. It's like,
Okay.
hey, you don't need a validation to make yourself better.
Right.
You are the one who's responsible for yourself. But I think through martial arts, we kind of teach that. You feel good when you do stuff, but you don't need other people to approve you for what you're doing.
So
One
is
thing-
it is it possible that martial arts, if a family can't be as supportive emotionally and mentally as they could be or should be, do you think that martial arts is a really good temporary or even permanent
Yes.
solution for that?
So here's an example, right? We have one of a student that he was raised in an unhealthy family.
Okay.
Where his father, mother kind of abused him, and
yeah.
it was never been supportive, and he always criticized for whatever he does.
Okay.
So when he found us, he fell in love with us because he feels like this is the home. The
Right.
people that connect, the
Yes.
community, the education that we provide for him, the understanding and training. I think for him, when he finally sat down and spoke to me, he was like, "This is my home. You
Wow.
guys are like my brother.
Okay.
You guys
Yeah.
are like just like my second family."
Right.
Because he never felt that he was connected with his parents, just because the backgrounds of his family.
Right.
So he felt abused all the time.
Right.
So when he could, he trained here all the time, and he feels like he wanted to do everything just for us because we're part of the family. I
Wow.
think that's what's missing in other areas. Like there's
Yeah.
no sense of community.
Right.
There's no sense of loyalty.
Right.
Where martial art, we're kind of building upon the society to kind of, hey, we're a family. We're kind of together. So I think
Yeah.
that's what's kind of missing
Okay.
in today's
Gotcha.
world too.